Here's the heart now placed in Chad. If you look closely, you can see here's the left subclavian artery, as we talked about in the first video. Here is the artery that's going to go up the left side of the neck, the left common carotid. And this branch right here that, so you can see it attaches to the right side of the aortic arch that's buried deep in there. This section right here, from where it attaches to the aortic arch to right here where it branches, this is the brachiocephalic artery right here. The brachiocephalic artery, as we talked about in the other video, branches. One branch goes up the side of the neck, that is the right common carotid artery, and one branch goes under the clavicle on the right side, so that would be the right subclavian artery. If we follow the right common carotid artery up the side of the neck, one thing that I did not build on this, because it's common carotid, remember that means it's shared, the common carotid artery branches. One branch goes inside to the inner part of the skull, and that's the part that we're not building. That's the internal carotid. And then another branch, so it would have branched right about here. The other branch that continues on the outside of the body is the external carotid. And you can see then that the external carotid comes up just behind the mandible and branches again. This branch right here that goes to the face is the facial artery. And this branch that goes up the side of the head, hopefully you remember what this muscle is called. This is the temporalis muscle. This is the superficial temporal artery because it goes to the temporal bone, to the temporal region. So now, let's go back to the subclavian. The subclavian artery comes down and it dives through the shoulder, and as it's coming out, which we can't see it right here, but in the armpit area, it's going to be called the axillary artery because it's in the axillary region. And then you're going to notice that a lot of the blood vessels are named based on the bones or the regions where they are located. This part of the artery that goes right down the upper arm, that is the brachial artery. Just as we get to the antecubital region, to the elbow pit, it branches again, and half the blood goes down this artery and the other half of the blood goes down this artery, and those arteries are named for the bones which they are associated with. That was bad grammar. So this is going to be the radial artery because it runs along the radius, and this is going to be the ulnar artery because it runs along the ulna. When you get down to the hand, once it goes into the palm of the hand, it forms this arch, and you'll see on your coloring sheet that there are actually two arches. I only built the one just for simplicity's sake, but this is called, we're going to just call it the palmar arch. And I would like to point out on your coloring sheet, it is spelled incorrectly. On the coloring sheet, it is spelled P-A-L-M-E-R. That would be like Arnold Palmer, like the golfer, or the drink. In reality, it's spelled Palmer, like the Palmer region, P-A-L-M-A-R. Then these branches that go out to the fingers, if you remember our regional terms, the regional term for the fingers is the digital arteries. So those are the arteries on the upper body, and I will do a separate video to show you the arteries on the lower body.